Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Transfers Live. Joining me, as always, is my esteemed colleague, Mr. Joe Smith.
Steamed like broccoli, me.
You are steamed like broccoli, my sir. How are we?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, man. It's good. It's been a while since we did a live video, hasn't it?
It is. It's been too long. I'm slightly annoyed that Chelsea are winning, but other than that, I'm doing very well.
Winning in what competition?
I don't know, some knockoff Europa League thing.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
like...
Yeah, they have to play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. How sad is that? Thursday
bunch
is the
of
night
losers
for elite European competition, and we all know that.
Exactly. Anything else, just not even worth bothering with.
Shit.
Not worth getting out of bed for.
No.
Talking of which, we've got a great show coming up. Do you want to hear what we're going to talk about?
I'd love to.
Jadon Sancho. You love him, don't you?
Just a bit, mate.
Yeah. Ousmane Dembele, you like him even more, don't you?
No.
Right.
But I'd like to talk about him just as much.
David De Gea.
Yeah, there you go. No talking.
Kanate.
Yeah.
He's got a choice to make, a
Has
decision.
he made it? Has he already made it?
Well, we'll find out. We'll ask ourselves a question about whether he has made that choice or not, because apparently it's still up in the air. We'll have to wait and see. Some bloke called Erling Haaland, I've never heard of him. We'll be talking about him. Jesse Lingard, who's having a renaissance down in East London. We're talking about him, whether he's going to stay or go. Declan Rice, is he going to come to United because Jesse Lingard may be staying at West Ham?
Yeah.
Who knows? Anthony Martial.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's not well, he's poorly sick. He's injured.
Poorly sick.
Bless him. Aguero.
You liked him last week. Don't get me.
I didn't like him.
Oh, Aguero.
No, I didn't like
you
him.
Want him at United.
I thought it'd be funny if we did got him and got that welcome to Manchester sign
up.
Laugh, yeah, but it's not like I was like, oh, you know, the signing we need to make this summer. And I also don't think we're going to get him, and I still don't. And Anthony Langa is in the Champions League. No, he's not, because we're not in the Champions League. He's in the Europa League squad.
We're also going to be keeping you up to date on the Chelsea-Porto score and on the PSG Bayern Munich score as well. Currently 2-1, I believe, and 1-0, not respectively.
PSG Bayern Munich, that's a distasteful game if ever I've seen one.
Why?
Oh, a club that was basically created to be a sports washing enterprise against another one who's got a monopoly on German football. Fantastic. Yeah, brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? How wonderful the beautiful game has become. I'm just glad we're in the Europa.
You're upset because you've got an ulcer. That's all your problem is. You've got a mouth ulcer.
Not an ulcer that you get inside where you like...
No, this room reeks of Bonjela.
It's not actually Bonjela. It's a different... I'll cover the brand, but it's a different type.
Why? Like this, in case this is the BBC by some chance. Who is it? Where you got it from?
Boots. That's where I got it from. Boots, yeah. But I'm soldiering on, even despite the fact I've got a mouth ulcer.
Oh, yeah. Most people would be in bed, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Full body cast.
Do you know what I mean? They'd be signed off for at least a month, but not me. I'm here.
Good lad.
You know
right,
what I mean?
Let's get into some stories then, shall we?
Not all heroes wear capes, Joe.
No.
Exactly.
You do though, don't you? Go around the office and you say, call me big hero man. Call me mummy hero, you always say.
Do we have to have the conversation again? We spoke about things you don't say on a live. Including me wearing a cape, calling myself Big Hero Man.
Or Mummy Hero.
Do get involved in Mummy Hero. Do get involved in the comments. Give us a like as well. Let us know what you think about some of the stories we're speaking about and some of the ones I've already spoken about. And of course the one in the thumbnail about Erling Haaland. Right, so we start off then with Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
As you can see there from the graphic, it says Manchester United have everything in place to sign Sancho. And there's a question there. Would you prefer Sancho or Haaland this summer?
Well, we've been asking that to our Twitter followers, Jay, and they've been pretty unanimous in not knowing. Because when I went on this, it had about 1,000 results or 1,000 votes. It was like 75% Sancho, and now the final results on that were: should United sign Sancho, Haaland, or other? 47% Sancho, 46% Haaland, 6% other. Very tight, very close. You know.
Where do you stand on that?
I go Haaland, I think. Just because it's fun having a big striker back,
weak,
isn't it?
pathetic fool. No, I know where you're coming from, right? And it depends what day you ask me.
Yeah, me too.
To what answer you'll get. Do you know what I mean? It's like, which is your favourite United team, or...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your favourite day of the week?
Chips with curry sauce, chips with gravy.
Yeah.
What
day? Yeah. What day you get asked is what the answer you give. But there's part of me that's beginning. I was Erling Haaland FC, and now I'm beginning to become Jason Sanchez FC.
Club de football.
Yeah. Purely because I've been thinking about this.
Go on.
Right. We need a right winger. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
We do.
Yeah.
If we get a right winger, sooner or later, Mason Greenwood's going to be all right as our striker.
Good point.
If we get Erling Haaland, we're probably not going to get a right winger, which means Mason Greenwood's going to be stuck playing on the right wing. Or Dan James, who I like, but is for me a squad player, is going to be our option. So we're either going to have, in a couple, maybe next season or even moving forward, a front three of Rashford, Greenwood and Sancho, which is a front three which could potentially last for a decade and be mint. Or we're going to have a front three of, Rashford,
Also fighting back.
Haaland and Greenwood. And it's a square peg in a round hole, innit?
That's a good point.
So, I mean, I would take either of them.
Think what it does to the squad. Good point.
I'm just beginning to come around to the idea of Mason Greenwood down the middle. I know he's not had the most prolific season this season. He's only got 2 league goals. And I'm not just getting carried away because he scored the other day against Brighton. But we know he's going to score lots of goals as a striker for Manchester United. It's just a case of when, not if. Get involved in the comments. Give us your answer to that poll, which is pretty even Stevens. United Forever podcast says, just send my match day video outside Granada with my face mask down. Cops nearby risking a €200 fine. Almost a danger wank.
Almost.
That's like a
pull your mask down and shout the coppers.
That's like a Frank Bruno tweet, and he's crammed everything into that one.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't follow Frank Bruno, former what weight
WBC heavyweight champion.
WBC heavyweight champion on Twitter. It's a thing to behold. Basically, do you know like when you're a kid and you've like write us a story in 60 letters?
I'll see if I can find
That's
one.
what Frank Bruno does. Man United have everything in place to sign Sancho.
Go on, you talk about that.
This is Romano talking again. It's a similar.
Forget Frank Bruno.
It's a similar line of conversation as what we saw in the summer, isn't it? Which is United have everything in place, basically meaning we spoke to Sancho, he wants it, we want him. This is all keen to happen. As Porto, free kick on the 6-yard line, looked like Porto might score a goal there. Sorry, we'll keep you updated. It's offside. Everything is sort of in place in terms of sorting out the agent, sorting out the player wanted to join United willing to buy him, all that sort of thing. Again, it is going to be the fee. And it's basically Dortmund, what's it going to be, lads?
It's like that thing, it's like everything's in place, apart from the £120 million elephant in the room, or whatever.
I think they want less than that now, though. They ain't getting 120 million.
No, you're right.
2012 or 15, when was it that really went ballistic? 2018, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
This isn't then.
No.
This is
so, all right, let's say they want 90 million. Have we got it? Are we going to pay it?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I think we will.
Is he coming?
I don't know, because how come Barcelona are allowed to get into all this debt and we're not? What, 500 million? That's child's play compared to Barca. I want to be in £1 billion worth of debt and have all these players.
Well, bide a bit of time, mate, and we'll be there.
We'll be in that debt.
The Glazers are going.
Fucked off with it all. Not because we've bought like Dembele and Griezmann and paying Messi £1 million a week. I know that they've not won the Champions League in a while, but they've won like 6 or 7 of the last 10 La Ligas. Like, I'd take it. We're going to be in debt anyway because the owners are shit. Yeah. At least let us put us in some debt with some fun players on the pitch. Come on.
Yeah, I suppose if we are going to be in debt, then I would rather we were in debt with lots of mint players.
To clarify, I don't want to be in any debt.
No, and I'd rather the Glazers fucked off, to be honest with you. But I don't see us getting out of debt or them fucking off happening anytime soon.
At least be in debt for the right reasons.
Yeah, we're going to be stuck with them for quite a while, and like you say, at least get us some shiny things to make the football a bit better and make us challenge for trophies,
a bit more exciting
rather than cutting corners all the time. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think Jadon Sancho or Erling Haaland are going to come? We've asked you all who you prefer. Do you think Manchester United are going to go all out in the summer and buy one of those players who would be a marquee signing? Because we didn't really have a marquee signing last summer, did we?
No.
Van der Beek was, he was a solid signing, good player. But a marquee signing in this day and age isn't 35 million quid.
It was more of a gazebo signing than a marquee signing, wasn't it?
It was like a barbecue type scenario. Yeah. Than a village fete.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
Couldn't agree more. No apple bobbing, but there was, maybe an apple and pork sausage.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? One of those types of situations.
What is your favourite of the non-sausage sausages? So, I mean, it's a sausage, but buy sausages, and there's always sausage, and then they've got the Lincolnshire, their Cumberland, their apple and pork, their sage and onion, their chili sausage, the tomato sausage, a caramelised onion.
Yeah.
What's your favourite of this sort of novelty or maybe specialist sausages?
I like Cumberland just because I like saying it. Cumberland sausage. I don't know why. Do you know what I mean?
Do you like saying Cumberland or Cummerbund more?
Cummerbund.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cumberland. I like Cumberland. What are them sausages you got? Cumberland.
Cumberland.
Cumberland sausage, isn't it?
All right, Cumberland.
Yeah, I
fair
like
enough.
that.
I like
that.
Cumberland.
I mean, they taste alright, but yeah, I just like saying it.
Nice and peppery.
What about you? It's a
Cumberland.
bit rude there. Sorry, I didn't ask you.
Cumberland. I like a tomato sausage, but because they're already red inside,
Yeah.
you never know when they're cooked. You cut it open,
Dodgy
see
that,
if
innit?
it's pink inside.
Hey.
Well, it started pink and it's ending pink.
This
So
is
this
risky,
cooked?
risky business.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, stick to the Cumberland. That's my motto.
Go on then.
People in the comments saying, someone's saying Chipotle.
I
Oliver
don't know
Edwards
that.
is with us. He says Cumberland.
Yeah.
Nicholas Chalmers says Cumbies.
Yeah.
United Forever podcast says sausages from Fresco's. Thomas Dickinson says Bangor.
Bangor.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a nickname for sausage though, isn't it? That's not a type of sausage. Anyway,
enough of this talk about pork. Jadon Sancho, is he going to come? Who knows? We'll wait and see. United do need a right winger, and we do need a bloody great big shiny signing because we've not had one for a good year, and I'm sick of it. And the bad thing is, right, signing a defender for loads of money is good and it's great, and Harry Maguire, but it's not the same as getting an attacker. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've got 80 million quid on, it's like when we've spent a load of money. What, on a holiday? Yeah, we spent a load of money on what? Doing up the garage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, we've spent $4,000.
What on?
Oh, we've had to repoint the roof.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What do you mean $4,000? Yeah, the scaffolding cost $2,500.
It's necessary.
Could we spend it on Disneyland instead?
But it's not as exciting as going on holiday.
Yeah, get me some goalie gloves that Peter Schmeichel wore. Or other goalkeepers maybe available.
Yeah, good lad. James Gillespie, welcome to the first team.
Yes.
Thanks for your support. If you're not checked out our membership section, go and have a look. You've got him giving out haircuts on there.
We've got another members podcast coming out on the weekend as well.
Yes, there's some good stuff on there
really
as
good
well.
stuff.
So go and check that out. We've got a discount as well on merchandise. So a few people in the comments actually talking about football.
We'll get to
Mike C says 3 strikers at the club. Haaland would be a good player to have, but right winger and CDM is more important. Yep, I think I'm beginning to come round to that way of thinking.
I think I might be as well. I did a video with McCall the other week talking about Haaland or Sancho, and I was Haaland, and I'm very much 50-50 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think, like you said, Haaland is the one for me that's going to win the Ballon d'Or out of the two.
Yeah, you made that point of view. It's true, probably.
I just think United need Sancho. And like you said, putting Sancho in frees up Greenwood to play in his proper position rather than you put Haaland in and you've still got no right wing.
And I think if Greenwood goes the way we expect him to, he is going to be prolific as a striker. I mean, you never know with injuries and things like that, but he's on that sort of trajectory now. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'll have either. Should we move on to a different type of player-ish? Ousmane Dembele. Now, this is a guy that's, I mean, you can see his stats there. 36 appearances, 10 goals, 4 assists in this season. Decent, solid. Went to Barcelona, didn't he? From Dortmund, was it?
Yep.
Good lad. I think they overpaid for him, to be honest with you. Didn't Barcelona pay about 120 million quid for a player who'd had basically one really good season?
Yeah.
Which was sort of a bit of a risk. Had his injury problems. Didn't play a lot of football for him. I think he played 5 games last season or something like that in La Liga. And then there was that sort of thing in the Champions League semi-final where they had Dembele, Griezmann on the bench, like 250 million quid's on the bench, and then Coutinho, their other massive signing, for 140 million quid, playing against them and scoring a brace. It just showed you, like you were saying earlier, showed how much of a shambles Barcelona had become in terms of their transfers. He's been linked with United quite a lot. He's a player that is obviously very talented. He's a winger, but he's like that sort of modern winger, and he's not out getting chalk on his boots. He's very much like the old-fashioned inside forward.
And he's not coming back and doing a whole hell of a lot of defending either.
No, you're right.
It's not that, you have to be doing all that, but that's not his game. That's not his style.
There's talk that he could be leaving Barcelona because they've got money problems. He's not exactly set the world alight on there, although he's having a good season. Is he a player, Joe, you want? For starters, 2 questions. Will it happen? Do you want it to? There you go. I'll make it easy.
I don't think it will happen, and I don't really want it to happen. I know that we don't have any right wingers, but just getting someone in who, yes, he's talented, yes, he's been highly touted, but has he been impressive really for any time in his career except a few months here or there at Barca and a few months here or there at Dortmund. How old is he? What is he, 24 years old now?
He's 24.
Like he's not. He's older than
23.
Marcus
Sorry,
Rashford.
he's 23.
Same age
but
as
he
Marcus
turns 24
Rashford
soon. He turns 24 next month.
Okay, so by the time we get him, he's 24.
So let's not turn this into he's 28 until he's 29. But yeah, like you say, by the time we sign him, looking at his stats, and I know stats don't tell you the whole picture. He had a decent season at Ren, thank you. There you go. Rons.
Rons.
Making up
Just
fucking
trying
words.
Trying to be a bit French.
Yeah, Rons like Joey Barton.
Yeah.
Did bits there. Then went to Dortmund. Did well there. Did okay. Got his massive move. Probably partly on potential as well. Not what he was doing, but what people thought this kid is going to be huge. And it's never really happened for him. He's had okay seasons, but he's not set the world alight. And now he's having a decent campaign. If we want him, it's going to cost a lot of money because they're going to want a big chunk of what they paid for him back. So it's going to be a big signing. But for me, with injury problems, with the fact he's never had a really consistent run of form, it just seems like a big risk not worth taking.
If you look at what he's done and like who he is, if he was anyone other than a player that Barcelona had already paid 120 million euros for, he wouldn't be any more than 50, 60 million. No, 30, 40 million. Yeah. Like, look at Alexis Sanchez at Barcelona. Twice the player he's ever been.
Yeah.
And what did he go for? 25 million?
Yeah.
There's no reason that he should be worth anywhere close to 50 million quid. It should be 35, but it'd be 60, 70 million they'd be talking for that. Like, there's no way he's worth anything close to what you'd have to pay for him because they foolishly paid so much for him, and they basically that transfer, that Ousmane Dembele to Barcelona transfer is what has fucked everyone trying to buy people from Dortmund, because now they think, well, we got that for him. Sancho's better than him.
Yeah.
So he's got to be at least that, if not more. But really, that was just a bad transfer that I don't want to say they got lucky with, but like what Barcelona paid for him was ridiculous and was never going to be successful. So I just think there's no chance United would pay what they want for him, and there's no chance he's worth what they want for him. So for me, absolutely not.
According to everyone in the chat, Bayern have just equalised. It's 2-2 between Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain. If anyone cares, and if that's true, it's what everyone's saying in the chat.
If that's true,
so I presume it is.
Liars.
No, well, some people do like to have a little joke. Sudeep Dutta in the super chat says, "Can we sell Lingard for 40 million quid?"
No.
We'll get it. Fair enough. Do give us a like as well if you're watching. Hit that like button. But we'll be getting on to Jesse Lingard, who's obviously become the greatest player in the history of association football during his time at West Ham. Get involved in the chat as well. Let us know whether you rate Ousmane Dembele, whether you think we should be going for him. And with you, I think if Ousmane Dembele was 35, 40 million quid, I'd be like, all right then, yeah, probably worth that. Still relatively young. He's when he is good, he's very good. But he's not like says we're going to be double that. And that's half your transfer budget, if not more, spent on a player who could very well play 20 games next season and weigh in with like 3 goals. And it's like, oh, fucking hell, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? So yeah, I don't think he's worth
to be honest,
taking that risk.
Even someone who gets 10 goals, 4 assists for his next season isn't worth 80 million quid. Like, I think that the numbers a bit. If he's worth what he would be worth or what they would want for him, Marcus Rashford's got to be 150, 200 million.
I think Rashford, if we were to sell him, which I don't think we would be one of the most expensive players around.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he would.
But I don't know.
I think the way the market is, and if someone came in for him like PSG or someone,
Dembele, that is.
Yeah. I think it would be massive money. But yeah, Dembele, don't see it happening. We'll keep you posted as always. You never know. These crazy times we live in, stranger things have happened. Than Ousmane Dembele coming to Manchester United. Do get involved in the chat as well and let us know what you think about that.
Nice.
One player who could be going the other way, just one amongst many, is David De Gea. He's been linked with a move away from Manchester United for a little while now. It's not quite happening for him anymore, is it? There's talk that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more or less said that he's got 2 number ones. Me and you were talking about this on the preview. That's nonsensical, really. You don't have 2 number ones. One of your keepers is your preferred choice. You may have one of them that plays in the cup competitions. We've had that in the past with Romero and David De Gea under Jose, even under Ole. We had it sort of last season, and we've had it this season. Earlier on, when it was Dean Henderson was in the cups and David De Gea was in the league, but David De Gea was very much the number one. Now it seems that he isn't really. Whether you want to believe Ole and say there's 2 number ones, or you think it's Dean Henderson. Either way you look at it. David De Gea has slipped a little bit. So, as you can see from the graphic there, he's been offered to top European clubs. You can see that he's been a great player for United over the past 10 years, made over 400 appearances. And the question is, do you think it's time for him to move on? Joe, do you?
I don't like saying yes because I don't want it to be like, we need to get rid of him. I don't think we need to get rid of him. But if there's a time for him to move on, based on who we've got coming through, based on the age of him, based on the age of Henderson, based on how suited De Gea's style is to the way United are currently playing, and will hopefully continue to play, I think it maybe is time for him to move on. If there's ever going to be a time, this is probably it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he hasn't soiled his name completely, but if we're honest, he's had 1.5 seasons where he's not been up to the standard that we expect from him, or, I mean, maybe even more, if maybe 2.5 seasons now, where he's not been at the standard he was sort of 2014 to 2018. Those 4 years where he was as good as anyone in the world, maybe the best. Since the World Cup, it's been not that player. And he's not been so bad that you go, fucking hell, can you believe we kept hold of De Gea all this time?
Yeah,
There's none of that. There's no ill will. There's no bloody hell, he's lucky to still be here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily last forever. And if he keeps not putting the performances in and keeps having, 10 games where he's good and 2 games where he costs us, then that won't last. And I just think that, like I said, now is probably the time for him to move and do something else. He's still got a great chance to play for most of the top clubs in Europe. But I don't know. I just think his style of shot stopping and staying on his line suits a team that sits back, because you've got defenders in the 6-yard box anyway, so you don't need to come out and do all that. But with United, who are trying to play high up the pitch, holding possession in the opposition half, basically the only time we can see goals are set pieces and counter-attacks, 2 things which he isn't great at dealing with. I think maybe now is the time, if there ever is one.
No, I agree. I think I love David De Gea, and you see it there, 400 appearances. Obviously won a league title with us, won other trophies as well. Has been the one player during that period at times who would walk into any other team in the world. And growing up, you had like 6 or 7 players in Manchester United's team that you could say that about. But in the last 10 years, there's hardly been anyone. Maybe Paul Pogba, but David De Gea has always been one for that little sort of 5-year spell where you go, he's the best keeper on the planet, and anyone would have him. He's not been at those levels for a little while now, and I think the fact that Dean Henderson, who's had one good season in the Premier League, has overtaken him, speaks volumes. So it is sad, but apparently some of the clubs that are interested in him, there's all sorts of like Juve and PSG and just some of the biggest clubs in Europe, shows you that his stock is still high. He's not going to end up going to sort of mid-table somewhere. He'll end up at one of the big clubs. It's just that the wages as well, again, astronomical wages. I think he's on about 350k a week. One of the highest paid, if not the highest paid goalkeepers of all time.
I think he's one of the, again, if not the highest paid player in the Premier League.
That's what I mean. So and it's like, and he's what? And he's, a second fiddle to Dean Henderson.
Yeah, if it was anyone else, like when the same situation was with Sanchez, and I know Sanchez has never been as good for United as De Gea is now, and this isn't De Gea's best, but just the idea of a player on over 350 grand a week on the bench most weeks, it was not even in question that can't be allowed. Whereas now, for some reason, it seems like people are open to the idea of having almost £500,000 a week sat on the bench, and that is a bit silly, isn't it? Financially, like, come on, let's be honest. And
the problem is as well is it's a complete waste. If you've got a 350k a week striker on the bench, you might still get something out of it.
Yeah.
He might come off the bench.
He might do 30 minutes a week.
And get you the odd goal. But David De Gea's not going to come off the bench, is he, unless Dean Henderson gets injured. He's literally just wasted there, sat there earning a lot of money. It's not his fault, because he's every right to sign the deal that was offered for him. And we were desperate to keep him at the time. But yeah, it does look a bit, like you say, a bit silly. Get involved in the chat, everyone. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's time for David De Gea to move on? Do you think we're being overly harsh? And that he has still got it? He is still one of the better keepers? Do you think that there's an argument that it's riskier to let him go than Dean Henderson? Because there was talk that one of them had to go. Dean Henderson, like I said, he's had one good season in the Premier League. He's having a decent season now. David De Gea has had a lot more than that. Who knows? I will get into some of the comments. Give us a like as well. Hit that like button. Do appreciate all your support. Aaron says David De Gea should be shouting at his defenders like Peter Schmeichel always did. I mean, he isn't very vocal, is he, David De Gea? That has been an issue with him, commanding his box and he's marshalling his defence, something that Dean Henderson does a little bit better. Danny Gray says, De Gea has been immense, but Henderson is cheaper and as good, if not better, right now. Raza 12003 says, I love De Gea, but also wouldn't be too upset to see him go now. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. I don't want to get to the point where you've seen De Gea make mistake after mistake over the last year or so, where you get him like, you just sort of disliking him almost because he's costing you points. You know, we saw it in the Everton game where he made a few mistakes, didn't he? I mean, practically every goal he could have done better for.
Yeah.
And you sort of, you know, after the game, it's De Gea's fault. And you have that sort of feeling towards him that you don't like having because a lot of the time he's been the one that's kept us in it and kept us going. According to someone in the chat, it says 3-2 to PSG, but I've not got that confirmed. So let me know. Yeah, is it Mbappe there? I think producer Cameron just said. Right, so I think we've cleared that up. Should we move on? Canate.
Is he not going to Liverpool?
Well, apparently, according to Sky Sports,
bastard,
I'm sort of windy pops. You can see there from the graphic, is Canate the perfect replacement for Eric Bailly, who has reportedly expressed his desire to leave Manchester United Football Club? Now, this is coming from Sky Sports. It's relatively reliable, although you don't know where they've got it from.
Pretty good.
It did look like Ibrahim Canate was going to the Scousers, and now there's talk of him maybe coming to us. I mean, how good is this guy, Joe?
Who knows?
Is he?
Who knows?
Or what he's cracked up to be? Or?
I don't know because
I thought it was all about Dale Upamecano anyway.
It was until he went to Bayern, and then we've got to find a new story. So now it's Canate.
Yeah.
I think he's meant to be very good. Again, it's one of those sort of hipster things to say. Actually, he's the best one. Upamecano he's the one who's getting dragged through by Canate. I think that's easy to say. I think he's a good player. They're meant to be both very good players. To me, I just think he's going to Liverpool. Yeah. And I think this is that sort of predictable. The deal's done, but it's not confirmed, so we can bring up the stories, hype up the stories, because we know there's a lot of interest in Canate, because all the Liverpool fans have gone, right, that's sorted then, let's check out the highlights, let's look him up, let's write these tweets, let's get our stats ready on Twitter for when it's announced. So now there's a lot more interest in this guy. Then you put United's name on him as well. You get the rivalry going back and forth. You get extra clicks, extra impressions, extra views on the tweets, all that. I think it's probably a little bit of that. If United can get him, fantastic. In terms of Eric Bailly leaving, who are we going to have? If he goes, we do need to sign someone because Phil Jones might as well not be at Man United already.
Might as well be Celtic.
Might as well be Celtic. Bailly doesn't, if he goes, obviously he's not there. Yeah. Then you've got Tuanzebe, who is patchy in terms of fitness availability.
And let's be honest, as a Premier League defender, and I love Axel Tuanzebe, but I love him because, you know, I've seen what he was doing at the youth and he went away at Villa and did very well for them in the Championship. But as a Premier League defender, he's still unproven.
Entirely unproven.
Yeah, he's not had a run of games in the Premier League where you can go, he's that good at this level.
So at that point, we've basically only got Lindelof and Maguire. And if one of them gets injured, or both of them gets injured, as we've seen, we've had 4 centre-backs injured multiple times in the last 12 years.
And am I right in thinking Canate as well, he's had injury issues, hasn't he? He only played like a handful of games, I think it was last season. So he has had his injury problems. I know he's only young, and that can sometimes happen when you're a youngster. But, you know, yes, I think we need something a bit more reliable, shall we say. And for me, this feels like, I don't know a lot about him, so I'm not going to pretend, but it does feel a little bit of a sideways move. I don't think he's the type of player where you go, well, that's the defence sorted now.
That's that done.
That's it. Canate's come in, final piece of the puzzle at the defence, goes in alongside Maguire, perfect foil and all that jazz. We're all good to go.
Would Lindelof look as good as him for RB Leipzig? I bet you we would.
You always make this point, it's a good one, about the fact that if you took Lindelof out of United's team and put him in a lot of other teams across Europe, he'd look
brilliant. He'd look fantastic for Barcelona, for Real Madrid, for maybe not Real Madrid, but Bayern Munich. You put him in that team, you think, fucking hell, world-class player.
Yeah, I mean, PK was a gifted defender, but there was a time at United, and people might think this is nonsense, but it's not. It's true, where Johnny Evans was considered the more talented of the two. We had PK and we had Evans. Evans, I think, went on loan to Sunderland. PK stayed at United, and then Barcelona wanted to take him back. I think he'd originally come from there, and Fergie didn't have any qualms about it because he was like, he's probably 5th choice centre-back for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying PK's not had a better career than Johnny Evans. Obviously he has. But my point is, when they're that age as well, it's very difficult to see what's going to happen, and it just, it's a bit too soon to go, yeah, he's the one, because like I said, he has had a sort of injury problems, is a bit of a risk as well, and it's going to be big money, especially, I know there was a rumour to be going for around 42 million quid or something like that. It wasn't massive money. I think he's got a buyout clause, but if you're going to start rivaling the Scousers with him as well, and having to do all that sort of nonsense with wages and stuff, I don't think it's worth the hassle, personally.
Neither do I.
But we'll wait and see. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you think he is the one? Is he the one to take us forward? Is he the missing link in that defence? Because we know Harry Maguire's not going anywhere, and the full-back positions are more or less sorted, although we may be looking at backup options. Anish Joshi says, Boateng is going to be a free agent at the end of the season, reported by Romano. You just know we're going for him. Free agent, old, slow. Yeah, that's us.
I hope not.
Weird, isn't it, with Jerome Boateng?
5 years ago, great player. 8 years ago, whenever it was. Great player. Come on, not now.
Not now.
No.
That's what I mean.
Not these days.
Dan says Sven Botman would be a better option from Lille. Another youngster in here. Another
The Botfly.
The Botfly. Ross Murphy says, shame back to Anzabi, outstanding against PSG, just doesn't get run of games. He's got it in him. He can be a fantastic defender. He's just got these injury problems, and he needs a run of games. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know where he's going to get them, because I don't see him coming into this Manchester United team anytime soon.
No.
I think the only way he's going to get him is if there's an injury crisis.
Or if he goes out on loan again.
Yeah, he may well have to do that. I mean, you're never too old for a loan.
No, especially not a centre back.
No, do you know what I mean? Exactly. It's a position where it's quite rare, isn't it, to have a 21-year-old centre-back playing for Manchester United. So, or Tuanzebe's a little bit older, I think he's 22. So, who knows what's going to happen? We'll wait and see anyway, but, we're not giving up on Axel Tuanzebe just yet. And as always, we'll keep you posted as and when those deals do or don't happen. Should we move on to the main man?
Go on.
The man of the hour when it comes to transfers, although he didn't score last night.
Fucking ought to have done, no.
Useless, eh? Useless. It's terrible. Too busy signing autographs in the tunnel.
Not doing
There he
his
is.
hair, is he?
He's just been licking plug sockets by the look of that.
How
graphic.
jealous are you of that? His hair.
Oh, do you know what? It looks like Boris Johnson falling down an elevator shaft or something. Doesn't it? It's absolutely startling. United, one of the only clubs able to afford Haaland. As you can see there, Dortmund are said to be looking for around 150 million quid to part with Haaland this summer. The Athletic report that fee would be in United's price range. The Athletic did a bit of a piece on him, looking at how he'd fit into some of the clubs that have been linked with him. We were one of those. And it's rumoured that United have roughly that sort of money to spend. It's doable when you weigh everything in, or weigh everything up, apparently. I'm sceptical, I'll be honest with you. But as you can see there, it says United are one of the few clubs whose revenue streams haven't taken too much of a hit in the pandemic, with Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward focused on ensuring the club has multiple ways of making money. Oh yeah, my fucking hero. As a result, they should have the requisite funds to invest heavily in the squad.
There you go. That's more like it.
Yeah.
None of this naysaying, oh, it's not going to happen this year, 40 million or nothing. That's what I want to hear. People saying we've got shitloads of money and we're going to invest heavily in the squad. Heavily, Jay.
Not just invest.
No.
Invest heavily.
Yeah, when someone's heavily pregnant, you don't look at them and go, are you pregnant?
Do I get up and give her my bus on the my seat on the bus? Or am I being rude because she's
No.
not actually pregnant? She's just big boned.
No, but when someone's heavily pregnant, Jay,
Right.
you're like, oh, have you got a bag of footballs under your
Yeah.
t-shirt? Or are you just, pleased to see someone 8 months ago?
Yeah.
It's the latter.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Sit down.
So, do you know what I mean? United are investing heavily this summer.
Yes.
I hope so.
I know, because we've not invested heavily for at least 2 summers.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not been that long ago, though, has it? We have bought players. People do forget that. We did buy Paddock.
When's the last time we went out and
Lukaku.
spent 80 million quid on a defender?
Yeah.
We've done that for about a year now.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's been ages.
Hey,
God.
when's the last time we spent 50 million quid on a fullback?
Johnny down the road gets a new Xbox. Why do I get a Donny van der Beek?
Yeah,
You had the Maguire 2 years ago. Yeah, but he's boring.
Yeah, he's just like,
I want the new one. I want the
defender.
Haaland.
Oh,
Yeah, give us Haaland. Give us Sancho. Give us someone else. I don't know. What else can we do?
Wouldn't it be mint if we had one of those summers like when Van Gaal just arrived? Yeah. And we just went, what? You want Di Maria? No, well, you can have him anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want Falcao? Not really. You can have him.
Yeah.
Do you rate Luke Shaw? I've never heard of him. Fuck it, have him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Morgan Schneiderlin, who's 8th, no, but he's yours now.
Yeah.
Just fucking buying players left, right, and centre. Oh, I like David Blind. He's yours. Don't worry about that, son. We got you.
Play for you at the World Cup. Have him, mate.
Boom.
Or
There
another
you go.
plane.
Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah. Just a crazy summer where we're just fucking going mental.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, are we going to get Alex Tellez? Let's spend 6 months debating it.
Yeah. Oh, we've got him down. Great news is we've got him down from 17 million to 13.5.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, that's sorted the fucking left-back spot out, hasn't it? Even though he's not going to play there.
All he's going to do is make our already left-back a bit better. Great. Cheers, Alex. Cheers.
Yeah, we've got a really exciting youngster. Oh, have we? Yeah, and 37 million quid eventually. If he plays a lot of games, which he probably won't for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
We'll take him. And he can't start till January. He's got to hand his notice in.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's got to hand his notice in? 3 month notice at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Handing his notice in. What is this? Working at TGI Fridays?
Exactly. It's ridiculous. I mean, not disparaging these boys. They're good players.
We're not disparaging these boys. You
I don't
headmaster there.
Yeah, I'm not criticising them. It's just
we're not
disparaging these boys. It's just not the type of transfers that get you going when it's not a player that comes straight into your attacking lineup and starts banging in shitloads of goals to fire to the league title. Let us know what you think about that. Tom Greenwell in the super chat says, "We have enough money for Haaland's transfer fee. We will need a new bank loan to cover Rayola's commission."
Chelsea just hit the underside of the crossbar there. Would have been 2-0 in what is technically the away leg, although they're both being played in Turkey, is it? Or
Sevilla,
Sevilla. So, in terms of... Is it still the case that away goals can't double in that?
Yeah,
Incredible, that, isn't it? Both being played in the same stadium, neither of which is a home tie. Just for the sake of formalities and basically the colour of the kits, this is technically Chelsea's away leg. So the goal that Chelsea have scored this week in the Sevilla match on a third neutral ground counts for double in the case of a overall tie than the one they score next week in a neutral ground in a slightly different kit.
It looks like they're going to go through here, are they? Chelsea to wrap
Round
it
the
up.
goalkeeper,
Oh, he's done it.
2-0.
2-0 to Chelsea there.
Chilwell with a goal.
But Ben Chilwell there, getting in on the action. One of the second best left backs in England, shall we say.
Cam just pretending to be a Chelsea fan off camera there.
Oh, bless him.
Get in.
Yes. Soccer.
Thank gosh. Anyway, carry on. What we got next?
Right, Erling Haaland, get involved in the chat. Let us know whether you think we're going to get him.
We're going to be talking about Erling Haaland a lot.
If we do get him,
I'm pacing myself.
If we do get him, though, for that sort of money, that's basically our transfer budget. So we may well have the funds for him, but if we get him, I don't see us going out and buying anyone else. So
we're selling De Gea, 30 million.
Pogba,
70 million.
Lingard,
70 million.
Right, okay.
All right, 80 million. Then
all right. So there's 180 million or whatever it was in total. So that covers Erling Haaland. There you go. Jobs are good, and we're still in
and
profit.
some weed as well to enjoy ourselves after.
And that covers everything. Petrol as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All your lunches and that as well. It's all covered there for you. Do you know what I mean? So don't worry about that. It's all included.
All your lunches. All your lunch. I bet he has weird lunches he does. We're having for lunch.
Steamed broccoli
just
or something.
80 fish.
Yeah.
What do you mean 80 fish? What are you, a chum bucket at SeaWorld? Yeah, just 80 fish for me. What? I bet he's one of them. He goes out of his way to be weird. I bet he's like, I just eat mayo. What do you mean you just eat mayo?
Yeah.
I don't even
but
like
he's got
it.
like shit music on in the change rooms. What is this fucking 1930s fucking waltz music?
Kosovan piccolo music.
Yeah, this is really good.
Why are you listening to that? You don't like this.
Yeah. Just get back to your 80 fish, you absolutely
Yeah.
So we'll see what goes on there, whether Erling Haaland and his 80 fish eating Kosovan music loving self comes to Old Trafford.
You know what, the more you say it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
Get him in. I like a wild card.
Yes. Berbatov was a bit like, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, apparently his dress sense and his musical tastes were a bit out there. So who knows, maybe Erling Haaland could be the answer. Get involved in the comments as always and let us know whether you want to see us spend all our budget, if in fact that is even an option, on Erling Haaland. You mentioned Jesse Lingard earlier. Yes. You said that he may go for 70, 80 million quid.
Yeah, and I meant it.
Yeah, obviously. It looks like he is going to go for a decent amount you'd expect because he's absolutely tearing it up. Or is he? Because it says could Lingard make a United comeback there? Do you think he could come back to Old Trafford? Lingard's form since going on loan to West Ham has been brilliant. Would you welcome him back at Old Trafford? I think it's 6 goals and 4 assists, isn't it? So far since he went to West Ham, 2 months ago. So it's quite ridiculous. I think he's one of the most prolific players in the Premier League at the minute. Would you have him back?
It all depends on what's going through his head and what he's telling his mates and what is going on with him. If he's going, I've been fucking right good. They're going to want me back. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go back. I think I can push Bruno or certainly play on that right-hand side. I think I've proven myself to Ole. Great. If that's what he's saying, maybe give him another go. But if he's going, perfect, I love it at West Ham, and what I've done here, I'll get a bit more, we'll get a bit more money for me, I'll get a bit more on the bonus. Or if he's like, if he is happy that he's done well with an angle to move, then of course he's got, not he's got to go, but the right thing for all parties is to let him go. But if he sat there going, oh, this is brilliant, I'm going to get a chance at United, one more shot, let's do this, then you think, well, I feel a bit unfair on him getting rid of him, because if he's willing to be a squad player and all that, maybe it's not the worst thing ever. But you've got to think where we were 2 months ago with him, 3 months ago with him. He'd barely played for the best part of 18 months. Like, it's obvious Ole doesn't fancy him. We've got a player in that position who's sensational, and Bruno Fernandes. I think the style of play that West Ham play and the way teams play against West Ham, the way that teams play against him just suits him more. He can counter-attack against those teams. He doesn't have to be on the ball for as long. He doesn't have to sort of stitch play together against deep-line defences. He can just get the ball, and like he did the other day, sprint 60 yards and stick the ball in the back of the net. Obviously, he's not going to do that every time. But look at most of the goals he scored for them. They are counter-attacking goals, and he's very good at doing that. But United are moving away from that a little bit. We are holding the ball a bit more. We are trying to do quick, fast breaks, but they rely on keeping the ball. And a lot of time, playing for United, regardless of what the manager's philosophy is, teams are going to sit back against you. And I don't think that's where he works at his best. He's not great at breaking down defences, but he is great at doing what he's been doing for West Ham. So I don't think he's going to come back to United unless he's really desperate and he's sort of, all of this in his eyes is building towards one final shot at United. Otherwise, I think he's on his way. What do you reckon?
Yeah, me and you've discussed this ever since more or less since he went there, because he hit the ground running, didn't he? He scored like 2 on his debut, and it's like, have we made a mistake, or is not made a mistake, but should he come back? And I love Jesse Lingard, I do, and it was horrible to see him fall off a cliff in terms of his form. It really was, because he's a player that's done a lot for the club, been at the club since he was a kid, since I think he was 8 years old. We've interviewed him a few times when we were full-time Devils. We interviewed him when he was on loan at Brighton. We interviewed him after the game once at the end of the season, where he bought everyone in Hotel Football a drink. We sat down, Macca sat down with him as well for a chippy chat. We spoke to him for about an hour. Really good lad. Scored some important goals, the League Cup final goal, the FA Cup final winner as well. But he was just horrendous, wasn't he, his form for United over like an 18-month period. He really did. And we know he had things going on off the pitch. His family situation had changed. I think he'd been struggling a little bit with his mental health. But it wasn't great to see, because you want to see him playing well. You want to see any player playing well for Manchester United, but especially someone who you've got an affinity with, like Lingard. He's gone to West Ham. He looks like the player he was of old. He's probably in the best form of his life, to be honest with you, because he had that spell for United, didn't he, like 18-month spell where he was pretty fantastic during that time when he was scoring goals in cup finals and making the Emirates his dance floor and all that. And he's playing as well as then, if not better. Will he come back and find that United? I don't know. Maybe it is just a change is what's needed. So I think for us to be, it's 6 goals and 3 assists. Sorry, I think I said 4. You can see there from his stats. So he's literally the most productive player in the Premier League over the last couple of months. But I think probably the best we could do now in terms of for Lingard and for the club is use him as a way of getting a player we need.
Yeah.
So if that is Declan Rice, and we're going for Declan Rice, then maybe that's the one. Someone in the chat saying Jack Grealish, if we went to Villa, and maybe said, would they take money in Jesse Lingard for Jack Grealish if we were to bring him in as maybe a replacement for Paul Pogba if he moves on? Who knows? There's some options there. In the chat as well, Chris Cahootle, I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I've got it wrong and butchered it. It says, about to have my first son. I want to name him after a United legend. Any suggestions?
Any United legends called Joe?
Yes. Well, Joe Jordan. I don't know if you want to class him as well.
Joe. After Joe Jordan. And not after anyone else, but after Joe Jordan. As a United legend,
he was okay. He's a good player. So never going to go legend. Do you know what I mean?
All right then. Named after a United legend. Bobby's a cool name.
Bobby?
I think that's a decent name.
No, Bobby's alright.
Yeah. I think Dennis is cool as well. Kind of the older name.
I like that.
1 N. So you got a nod to Dennis Law. Dennis or Bobby, I think would either be cool.
Yeah,
Nemanya's a bit.
Nemanja.
It depends where you're from as well.
Yeah. You can go with Ollie or whatever.
Yeah.
But
bit current.
Yeah, a bit current. And obviously, if something goes horribly wrong for Ollie's manager, that might taint it a little bit. You don't want your son tainted with that. The ones you've mentioned, Bobby Charlton's always going to be a United legend. Dennis Law's always going to be a United legend. Eric is a nice one.
I've got it.
Go on.
Sir Matt.
Sir Matt.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you call yourself Sir?
Of course you fucking can.
So you can actually, your name could literally be Sir Joe Smith.
I need to head to the
Depot
naming office
and just say, I'd like to call myself
Sir Joe Smith. I don't know, is that legal?
That's what I mean, like, because if it is, then what's the point in going through all the rigmarole of doing good deeds all your life, or, you know, killing dragons, whatever it is that knights do nowadays? Well, it's a Sir.
Yeah.
Sir
There's
J.
a little
Motter.
slap in the face for the traditional system.
Yeah.
And also, we get to be knights.
That'd be midnight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
Flying about
making
with
reservations.
suits of armour
And
and
I'd like to book a table for Sir J. Motti and Sir Joe Smith. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course we've got a table for you, Sirs. Yeah, we'll do that.
Right, so
put it on your list.
Right.
Write it down. Good luck with that anyway.
Dennis or
Glad to hear
Bobby?
you're having your first son, and hopefully you pick a name not based on the ramblings of me and him, to be brutally honest. Someone's saying Ashley Grimes in the chat. Ji-Sung, Ryan, Patrice.
Ryan?
Why are you questioning that?
Oh, Giggs. Sorry, I couldn't think what it was. In my head, Ryan Giggs isn't a bloke called Ryan. Because in my head, there are no 45-year-olds called Ryan.
It's like Wayne, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Wayne. My middle name's Wayne.
Yeah.
And
like Paul
I'm not
Scholes
very
is
fond
called
of it.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
No, he isn't. It's
I was
called
gonna.
Paul Scholes.
If I was to name my child, I didn't name any of my kids after footballers, but if I was, my two favourite players.
Yeah. Zinedine Motorhead. You telling me that's not named after a footballer?
No, that's just the name we picked out of the book.
Go on. Toward the back.
It would be either Brian Robson or Roy Keane. Well, I'm not going to call me lad.
Brian!
Brian!
Go on, Brian! Go on, Roy!
Oh, Roy! Yeah. Roy? You have to explain that he's named after Roy Keane.
Roy Carroll, yeah.
Someone's saying Phil Jones. Now you're just being silly.
Yeah, don't be
Johnny Barbados says May is in David May, who photobombed the Champions League shot.
Johnny Barbados? That's the best name I've ever heard. I'd fucking kill to be called Johnny Barbados.
Everyone's getting...
Paul Hollywood. How has a man who tastes cake for a living got a name like Paul Hollywood? The coolest name of all time. And what does he do? It's a bit of an overworked bread. That's not what Paul Hollywood should be shooting bad guys and doing car chases. Paul Hollywood is eating flapjack in a tent next to an old lady. For God's sake. Right, go on. For anyone who don't know, Paul Hollywood's from the Great British Bake Off.
Mate, yeah, there's lots of comments, lots of suggestions in the comments. So go and check that out, mate. And if maybe someone's got a pearl of wisdom, although I'm guessing by some of the ones I'm seeing, people aren't taking it as seriously as they should be for naming your firstborn son. As I mentioned earlier, Declan Rice is an option. Lingard plus cash. We'll have to wait and see with that one. Declan Rice, is he a player that you see coming to United or fitting in at United?
He's sort of like, in that position,
yes.
He's just obvious person number one, isn't he?
But is that not because he's good?
Maybe it is. And Harry Maguire was obvious person number one.
Sometimes that doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
No, it doesn't. But it does concern me where I just think, Declan Rice, he's English, he's probably the best defensive midfielder we've got. But I would also say that defensive midfield and central midfield generally is probably England's worst position.
Yeah.
Thinnest, least high quality players, no honestly world-class players. I think he's good. I think he's improving himself to maybe be very good. But I don't know, whenever I hear his link with Declan Rice, part of me just thinks, bit obvious that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of, like, come on. Anyone would pick that out of the list of players that are available. Well, not necessarily available, but he's the one that jumps in your head first of anyone.
Yeah.
You think, I don't know, maybe it's just a bit too perfect or a bit too obvious for me. But I think I'd like him at United. I think he improves certainly on what we've got there. But I wonder if there's someone who's we haven't heard of or is a bit more unknown that could maybe be a better player in 2 or 3 years' time than Declan Rice is now.
Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you think that Lingard and Cash for Declan Rice is obvious? Joe says,
Matt Cash from Aston Villa.
Matt Cash.
Matty Cash.
Johnny Cash, the deceased country music singer. I mean, it does seem an obvious one because Lingard's doing so well, because Declan Rice is going to move from West Ham sooner or later.
Yeah.
They don't tend to keep hold of their best players, to be honest with you. So you would expect him to move on eventually. I know that David Moyes rates him, but does that mean he's going to stay there forever? No. I don't think it does. So Lingard and cash for Declan Rice makes a lot of sense to me. Some people in the chat with other suggestions, someone was saying Wilfred Ndidi. That's not a bad shout. I rate him. He's played very well against us when he's played against us for Leicester, and obviously doing very well at Leicester in general. Probably a deal that could be made as well. But Leicester are a bit of a funny one, aren't they? Because as we found with Maguire, they're a club that you can get players from them, like Kante, like Mahrez, like Maguire, like Chilwell, but they're not a traditional club in the sense of they have to sell their players on the cheap. They've got rich owners that give a shit about the club as well. So if you want a player from Leicester, you can get him, but you're paying top whack. And that's the only thing that worries me a little bit of Ndidi. I think, despite the fact that you're going to pay a lot for Declan Rice, because like you said, the English tax. Bissouma, someone is saying as well in the comments.
A lot of people like him. By the way, full-time PSG 3, Bayern Munich 2, and Chelsea, or should I say Porto 0, Chelsea 2 as well. So 3 away goals for PSG as well.
Oh, PSG. Do you reckon PSG are going to win the Champions League, do you?
I think they will, yeah.
Yeah?
That was my prediction at the end of last round. I think they'll beat Bayern Munich, and I said that to you before tonight. And now it looks a bit more likely as well, because, 3 goals... a 1-goal lead and 3 away goals for PSG. So if it's within 1 goal, you've got to assume PSG are going through there. And you would expect Chelsea to hold out against Porto at home.
So bizarre, isn't it? The sort of situation.
Just get rid of that.
What, the home and away legs?
Yeah, for those specific ties, it's embarrassing that one team is going to get an advantage because they happen to play the week before and win that game or win the other game.
Well, did we not have an element of that with Sociedad? Because we played that in Turin, didn't we? The away leg.
But we had a home leg.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Did we not have an advantage then?
We did.
Because we actually played at home, our home leg.
Of course we did.
And their home leg was in a foreign country to them. Well, to both of us, obviously. But it's like, it does seem a little bit crackers.
Yeah, it was unfair.
There, so I don't know, man. When you put it like that literally all you're doing is changing kits next week, and it's like, right, this is your away leg now. It does seem a little bit unfair, but we'll see what happens anyway. And like I say, the Champions League, it's not the Europa League, is it? No one really cares about that. Should we move on? Anthony Martial. I mean, it's not looking great, is it, for our Tony M this season? He's had a bit of a time of it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there with a quote, giving an injury update. Anthony Martial, of course, got injured playing for France. He limped off. And then you can see from the quote, it says, Anthony has started his recovery. If we see him before end of season, I'll be very surprised. I mean, going into this season with Anthony Martial, what were your expectations?
Another 20-plus goal season.
Genuinely, yeah, no messing about.
Well, no, he got 24 goals
Yeah, no,
last
that's
season.
what I mean.
And half of that, well, he was injured for a couple of months last season.
Yeah.
And half of that was without Bruno Fernandes, who was the magician that made us score loads more goals. And now we go into this season, and the expectation was at least another 20-plus goal season. Cement yourself as a number 9. Cement yourself as someone that we can trust to score goals for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's 15 league goals, 4 in this, 2 in this, 1 against, or a hat-trick against Rochdale. It don't have to be 25 goals against Man City, Chelsea, and PSG, but just get some goals for United. And he obviously hasn't done that. And it's almost like, because I never like knocking his style of play, really, because it's not up to me to decide whether he has to sprint around all the time, and he's obviously a great player. But the thing I've said it before is, I just wish at some point we'd seen him try something different. Yeah. Because I don't think, if I was so badly out of form for that long, and the way I wanted to do it wasn't working, I'd go, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do anything to get back into form here. I'm going to make those runs in behind. I'm going to be industrious. I'm going to work extra hard. I'm going to at least be able to say after every game, I ran myself into the ground. And I know it's not my style. I know it doesn't come naturally to me. But for the sake of just trying to fix, which is what is at this point a tremendous drop in form for a consistent period of time, I'm surprised that we haven't seen him just do a little bit more in terms of variety to get that sorted. This now, the fact that he's going to be out to the end of the season, I mean, McCullough said the other day on the watch-along, he thought it was almost like a blessing for him where he doesn't have to worry about this. But when you look back at the end of the season, you're not going to go, oh, he was injured for some of it, so it don't count. You think, he got 6 goals for United this season. That's atrocious.
I think I know where McCullough's coming from, but I think part of that is, and I had that sort of feeling the other week with Leicester when Marcus Rashford was injured and he couldn't play. And I'll get to that super chat in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was like, there's been so much sort of energy focused on Marcus and criticism of it. It was like, okay, he's not here this week. Yeah. Others have got to step up, and it's not going to all be about him and expecting him to do it all. And I think there's an element of that because it's been such a horrendous season. It's like, okay, he can take himself out of the limelight, and because you care about that player as well, it's like, you know what, we don't have to worry about him. But we need him. We need a fucking number 9. You know, we've got Edison Cavani who's got injury problems, and for me, he's still unproven at Manchester United. People might not want to hear that, but his goal scoring record is okay. But it's not great at United. No. I know he's been proven elsewhere, but we're getting him at the end of his career.
Yeah, I don't care how many goals he scored for Napoli.
Yeah, well, that's fuck all to do with right now.
When you sign him, and you think, the chances of him doing well for United are increased by the fact he's got 350 goals.
Thank you.
Yeah, if he ends this season with, was it 7 goals he's on now?
Something like that. Yeah, which, you know, is all right. But if you break it down game by game, there's been games where, and I'm not saying I don't like Cavani, I do, but there's been games where he's had very good chances and not converted him. And it's like, it's ended up costing us. So the jury's still kind of out on him, even if he's going to be here next season, that's another story. But in terms of this season, Mason Greenwood, who, you know, we all have discussed earlier and said we expect him to score and have a fantastic career, but right now he's at the very beginning of it. And we can't rely on him this season especially. We need other options. So missing Anthony Martial, it's going to hurt us, man. And it's a shame because he had that good game at the Etihad, man of the match. Didn't get his goal, but played really well. He was hoping he was going to build on that. Goes away with France, and he's had a torrid time with France as well. Missed out on the World Cup. Hasn't really got, I think his goal score record for France, is it 1 in 20 odd or something? Yep. So it's never really happened for him on the international stage. Goes away with France, you think, okay, yeah, he's getting a game for them. I think Didier Deschamps still likes him. And he gets this injury that could cost him his season, so it's not been a good one for him. Mo Turkistani says, could Joe please explain to me why away goals, in speech marks, is even a thing? Even if one team scored more away from home, the other team defended better in the other. Makes no sense. 2010 Champions League still pisses me off. That was the Bayern Munich one, wasn't it?
I get it. I mean, the suggestion is that it's harder to score goals away from home because of the crowd, because of the fact that generally teams have a better record at home than they do away. So if you can go away from home and get a couple of goals, they count for more in the case of a draw, because theoretically it was harder for you to do that than what the opposition did. Like if we draw 2-2 away and we draw 1-1 at my place, yes, you know, I had to defend better, or whatever, you had to defend better to concede less, but I think it puts an emphasis on scoring goals, which is what things are. Over the years, things have been put in place to put an emphasis on scoring goals in football. One of the big ones going from 2 points for a win to 3 points for a win, because it meant that drawing was no longer viable in terms of collecting points for winning trophies. So it makes people try to score. This is just making people try to score goals, isn't it?
The thing is, you look at it and you go, what is the point? But if you go all the way back to '99, and I remember when we played Juventus, and we drew 1-1 at Old Trafford, and when Giggs scored, I was just behind the goal when Giggs scored a late equaliser. And you think, oh, we've got it all to do. And that game was so open, they get 2 early goals. And then you remember, like, we got 2 back, and it's like, right, we're going through it because the away goals. And obviously Andy Cole gets that last-minute winner. It's just so when it works in your favour, you sort of love it. And when it's not, or when you look at it now where it's neutral grounds, it does seem silly. But it has given us some great games over the years. And it's flawed, but so are most things in football.
And the alternative, in theory, again, obviously some teams go out and attack, is what we'll do is, let's say you're Juventus, I'll be Man United because I like Man United.
Oh, I've been stitched right up being the losers.
So the first leg is away. So I go over there, we go, right, we're going to sit back, we're going to stop you scoring 0-0. We'll just 0-0 because we're going to struggle to score at your ground anyway because you're a good team. It's not going to be easy. So instead of risking it, we'll just sit back and allow you to attack us, but we'll sit back. And then we'll come back to Old Trafford, we'll get a goal and we'll win it. So then all of a sudden you get 1 goal and you get a goal as well, trying to really play. Then it should, to me, the team that tried to attack in their away leg should have a bit of extra credit because it's harder to score away goals, theoretically.
I mean, that night in Paris, of course, that's another one where it's like basically got Ollie his job permanently, didn't it? And it's like,
stops teams, or it's meant to stop teams sitting back in the way.
I mean, we've tried some things, haven't we, that didn't work, like golden goal. Do you remember that? Was a lot of balls.
Oh, yeah.
where just no one tried to score really, did they?
No, it's too scary.
Yeah, it's like you attack and then done another counter. This game's over and you've lost. So fuck that. We'll just defend.
So for anyone who doesn't know what golden goal was, because that's a possibility, it's not been around for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It was essentially when things go to extra time, instead of it being like at the end of extra time, whoever's winning wins, like it is now. You play the 30 minutes no matter what. There was a system called golden goal, where whoever the fuck scored...
Next goal's a winner.
Next goal winner.
That was like...
So we're going to extra time. If you score in the first 11 seconds, you've won the World Cup.
That's it.
So in theory, you think, that's exciting, let's get a goal, get a goal. What everyone did was just leave the ball in the middle of the pitch. Don't touch the ball, I'm too scared.
Penalties, right? Yeah. It was a disaster because it just gave you loads of 0-0s.
Dan says, what was silver goal? It was like golden goal.
In the first half.
But, so if it's 90 minutes, kick off, 15 minutes till half time, another 15 minutes to the second half. If I score in the 91st minute, I don't win yet. But instead of going all the way to end of the extra time, at half time of extra time, I win. So it's like golden goal. It was like halfway between normal and golden goal.
I almost forgot about silver goal. The only golden goal I ever remember, and I might even be getting this wrong, so was it Trezeguet for France? Didn't he get it against
2000?
Italy? Yeah. I'm sure that was golden goal.
Maybe
in the Euros in 2000. I'm sure David Trezeguet got a golden goal.
Trezeguet in Euro 2000, says Ryan.
That's the only one I can remember. I'm sure there was others, but that's the only golden goal I can ever remember. And I can't remember any silver goals, even though
they never tried out a bronze goal. What do you think that is?
That's like you score it in the first. No, I don't know.
I think I like the idea of a bronze goal is you score, or no, you just keep playing till someone scores.
I like
regardless of how long it takes. There is no time limit, but it's golden goal. But there's, if it takes 6 hours. If this game's 0-0 in 6 hours' time, you're still playing. Bronze goal. As soon as you score, you win. But if you don't score, you keep fucking playing. I love that bronze goal.
Unlimited time.
Unlimited time.
Yeah, we're going to have to postpone the game we've got the weekend because we're still playing.
Yeah. 4 weeks we've been playing.
Yeah.
They're on hunger
They're all
strike.
asleep.
Yeah. They're having their nap game. We're going to bring a sub on during the midnight hours. Like Le Mans. Then there's like a 24-hour race. 24-hour stoppage time.
Hey. If you're listening, the powers that be at FIFA, think about it.
Get it sorted.
A in the super chat says Martial still selected by world champions France.
Must have scored loads of goals for United then this season.
I mean, like you said, last season it was 23 goals, I think it was. Played really well. What are you laughing at?
Platinum goal? ? If you even think about scoring, you fucking win. You thought about you've won, lads. Well done.
Platinum goal.
You don't even have to score for it to go in. First person to touch the ball wins. The ball will be lowered into a pool of piranhas. First team to touch it wins the World Cup. Platinum goal.
Yeah, that's where you win the competition. Yeah. Your next goal doesn't win the match; it just wins everything.
Meat goal. You have to eat the ball. Eat the meat. I don't know what I'm saying. Move on.
You've been watching them videos again, you haven't you?
No.
Gold-plated goal, diamond goal. Yeah, there's lots of
nice.
Lots of. Santa Notch says idea goal, speciality of Thiago. Added time multi-ball. Yeah, I remember that in the advert. Shall we talk briefly about Sergio Aguero?
Get him out my sight.
Yeah, do you know what? Ollie spoke about this the other day.
Thank God.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer rules out Aguero move. I rank loyalty highly. I know we're professional, but when you play for Man United, you don't go to Man City. Now, this caused a little bit of a furore because people were going, oh, what? Don't you like Dennis Law? Oh, don't you like Andy Cole? Oh, don't you like Peter Schmeichel? No, I fucking don't. But I get where he was coming from. He was sort of making the point that it ain't going to happen.
No.
Players don't tend to move between those two clubs. And when they have done rarely in the past, I mean, for starters, those players I mentioned, Dennis Law was more or less released by United.
And Dennis Law had already played for City.
Yeah, he'd already played for City.
Before he played
and this
for
is
United.
in an era, I know they were rivals, and we've always been rivals, but this was in an era where people would actually go and watch City one weekend and United the next.
Yeah, this was
the home games,
73,
73, I think he moved on.
He left United.
So I know Andy Cole was towards the end of his career, and it wasn't the same Manchester City now. Peter Schmeichel, I wouldn't even mind Peter Schmeichel playing for City. It was the fact he cartwheeled in front of fucking United fans when we got beaten at Derby that absolutely boils my piss when it comes to him. But yeah, I think Ollie's just making the point there, as you can see. Well, of course, loyalty is one of the values I rank highly, so I wouldn't expect any player who had played for a club for 10 years to want to go to a local rival.
I love that from him.
Yeah.
Love that.
But people like, oh, he's obviously just, we're not getting Aguero. That's all he's saying. And to be honest with you, I never thought we were. It would have been a bit funny if we got him and sort of rubbed it in our faces. But it isn't going to happen. And I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is even trying to make that happen. And nor should he. Jack Lynch in the Super Chat says, I think this is a new Super Chat, even though it's a topic we've covered. He says, if you had a choice of signing 2 quality players of Sancho or Haaland, who would you choose? We were talking about this before. We had a poll and it was almost 50-50. You said Haaland, didn't you? I said I'm coming round to thinking Jadon Sancho could be the answer. People in the chat, of course, saying Carlos Tevez. The thing with Carlos Tevez, right? And I'm going to get a lot of hatred for this, but I sort of understood him going to City almost because United didn't want him anymore. Fergie didn't want to pay for what Kia Jorbation, whatever his name was, wanted him.
Jorbation?
Was that his name?
Jorabchin?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So we could have kept him had we wanted. He'd only been at United a couple of years. It wasn't that. It's the fact that he went there and the RIP Fergie stuff, the welcome to Manchester posters. It was all that jazz that went with it, which sort of left a sour taste in the mouth.
A 2-year loan at United as well.
That's what I mean. It wasn't. It was all odd with Carlos Tevez, and there's a big part of me that still, I know it's not a popular thought, but actually blames Fergie. Fergie, I think, in Tevez's final season, he only scored about 6 goals, and I think Fergie looked at it and thought, he's not all that. I can afford not to keep him. And really, he was, and we should have kept him. But that doesn't excuse the way he carried on when he went. And I've got no fucking time for him. Luke H in the Super Chat says, what do you make of the Bailly rumours, lads?
What, leaving?
Yeah.
I don't think Ole will get rid of him.
You don't?
No, because, like I said, Phil Jones already doesn't play for Man United. Tuanzebe is completely unproven.
Yeah.
And then if Bailly's gone, you've got only 2 centre-backs.
Only 2?
And we've had it in the past where Evans, Vidic, Ferdinand, and whoever else have all been injured at the same time. And then you've got, Fletcher and Carrick, or Ever and Carrick starting games at centre-back for United. Like, it doesn't take a lot for 2 or 3 centre-backs to be out for a month each. All of a sudden we've got, I can't even guess. We've got Ted and Mengi and Wan-Bissaka playing centre-back. Like, that's unthinkable. Matic. And it'd be McTominay, wouldn't it? Because he's played there for Scotland. It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility if we sell Eric Bailly without replacing him, that we start a game next season with Ted and Mengi and Scott McTominay at centre-back. And that is unthinkable. So if we do get rid of him, we have to replace him. But I don't think we will. And if we do, we already need centre-backs. I don't think we're in a position to let any go. We've just let 2 go and not replaced him in Smalling and Rojo.
We all love Eric Bailly, and he's probably one of the most likeable players we've got. But there is a part of me that thinks, what do you expect here? You're constantly injured.
Yeah.
So where's this coming from, like this idea that you've been outdone by? You haven't. No. You've struggled to get a run of games because
Hargreaves.
It's like you're always on the treatment table, and even when you've had a good run, like 4 or 5 games, where you have been a great defender and it's like fantastic. And you think, right now, maybe you can form a partnership with Harry Maguire. Maybe you can form a partnership in the past. I think was it him and, not Phil Jones, was it him and Daley Blind for a little spell where it looked like them? That could be a combo. And it's just like, it falls apart because Eric Bailly ends up getting injured. Do you know what I mean? And there's been times as well with like silly sendings off and things like that. And it's just not worked out for him, or been working out for him in terms of a run of games. So I'm a bit surprised he's like, I'm not going to sign any deal. It's not because he's not rated by Ole. It's obviously because he's not fit. So I don't know. I think we should be keeping him. But the flip side to that is, do you want a player that doesn't want to be there? Let us know what you think about that. Do you think we should be going all out to keep Eric Bailly? Do you think we should be looking at someone else? Who do you think we should be looking at? We spoke earlier about Kanate as being an option. Is that going to happen? It looks like he's going to the Scousers. We know that we were whirling with Dale Upamecano, his partner in crime, but he's got at Bayern Munich. Who's the other one? Jules Koundé is another one we've been linked with.
Koundé's been mentioned.
Ben White.
Been mentioned. Ben White.
Yeah, Ben White's sort of one of
Ben Fogel.
Ben Fogel. Is he the canoeist?
He's a canoeist.
What does he do?
He's a presenter. I think, was he the one that was on the... Was he a rower in the Olympics?
Was he?
Was he
one of those sort of like posh blokes? Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah. What's he called? Him who won the 5 golds?
Steve Redgrave.
So he's one of your Redgrave
boat people.
Boatman. Water boatman. Not the insect.
Sir Steve Redgrave.
Yeah,
he didn't check. Did he check?
Yeah, it's a fake one.
5 gold medals.
Well, I need to look into that. Me and you changing our name. Sir J. Moy, Sir J.
Do you reckon you could call yourself like Sir Joe Smith, MBA? could you actually go the full? Because like it's the name, and he's just changing it and just proper take the piss.
Why couldn't you?
You know, or Lord.
Yeah.
Lord Joe Smith of Altrincham or whatever. Yeah, we're looking at that. We'll keep you posted. In the chat, Brad Sundberg says Pau Torres. He's another one we keep hearing about. Scrappy Doo says keep Bailly.
Ben Vogel is a TV presenter, not a rower. All caps.
Sorry.
He's very much got rowing energy, though, hasn't he? Who's the one that was rowing with Redgrave that also went on to be a TV presenter?
Not Matthew Pinsent.
Pinsent was in there. Cracknell.
Yes, James Cracknell is who you wanted.
Thank you.
Sorry. I always think of Ben Vogel as a rower. I can picture him, but
because he's got James. He looks like your Pinsents, your Redgraves, your Cracknells. He looks like that kind of guy.
Yeah, but
for anyone who's not from Britain, this has just gone to shit. This hasn't it? They don't know who any of those people are.
No. Vogel Atlantic rowing race. Vogel was the first to cross the line in the pairs division of the 2005-2006 Atlantic rowing race.
Get in.
Yeah, partnered by Olympic rower James Cracknell.
Fuck off! Come on! I knew it! I knew Vogel had a fucking rower's head on him.
Hey, do you know what I mean?
Good lad.
Well done, Vogel.
Yeah.
Back into the conversation on planet Earth. Jack Lynch in the super chat says, if Eric Bailly was 100% fit for every game, week in, week out, then we wouldn't be in a position where I think he need another centre-back. I agree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Someone said rowed a boat. Like you'd say rowed a goat or something. I know you rowed a boat. You mean rowed, not rode like, he rode his bike down the road.
Like rode with a W.
Yeah, not R-O-D-E.
Yeah.
R-O...
Yeah, we get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he got his oars out and all that. Yeah. Right, A says, Martial can be back up the Jesus to our Aguero.
I mean, Aguero's played about 14 games for City this season. Maybe he could, yeah. But I don't know who back up to who. We have to buy another striker in the summer.
I know I've asked you this before, just off topic slightly. Would you take Danny Ings?
If Cavani leaves, yeah.
Yeah?
Because, I mean, if we aren't getting Haaland, if we aren't getting a big-name striker, I guess he's got some goals in the league, hasn't he? And if he's free, we got Igalo, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. And Danny Ings is better than Igalo, so I guess.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fill my heart with custard.
The one thing I'm just sort of... The great unknown is how ready Mason's going to be next season.
Yeah.
How far off being a striker is he for Manchester United? Do we need to give him another season? Someone's in the chat saying Ings isn't free though, so yeah, we'd have to pay for him. Thing is with Danny Ings, like I've always thought, no, he's a Scouts rejects and all that. But then you look at him, you think, how many goals has he got over the last couple of seasons? How many goals would he get if he was playing? Say he played 20 games for Manchester United, he'd probably get you about 8 or 9 goals. So is that the end of the world? I mean, it's not the signing that I want. Before anyone jumps down my throat, I'm just wondering if that is an option. If we're not, in the market for an out-and-out striker, if we do get, say, Jadon Sancho and a centre-back as our 2 main signings, could we get someone else on the cheap? I don't know, get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. Give us a like as well. Someone mentioned Andre Silva, there's another one that's been spoken about. Should we move on to our final story of the evening, good sir?
Okay.
Anthony Ilanga. Yeah. He's in the Europa League squad. He maybe could be given his debut against Granada. For those of us, and I say us, who don't know a lot about him, he's an 18-year-old striker. He's not made any. This is like obviously, as it says there, his debut. So he's not made any appearances for the first team yet. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been speaking about him. He says that he was very unlucky 2 or 3 months back when he got a bad injury, and he's worked really hard to come back because he was just due to move into the first team squad back then. He also says he's got an X factor. Some attributes, it's not like a gift, but he's got the acceleration, pace, speed. That's a given for wingers, and he's got qualities that I like. He's a goal-scoring winger. He's confident. He likes to beat men. Right foot, left foot. He's got a great attitude. His appetite and hunger to improve when he's been training with us. While he's been here now, he's not been fazed by it. He's confident. He's not just there for experience. He's ready to play a part if he has to. I think he's just signed a new deal on Erlanger. He's one of the ones that we've been signing a lot of our youngsters onto long-term deals, and he's one of them. I don't know a lot about him other than what I've heard from people like Dave Pritt and a few others that we speak to, did the academy stuff with us. Very exciting player, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, the type of player that fans like to see. you know, someone who, like say, can use his left, his right, and a goal-scoring type of winger. It's the great unknown, innit? You don't know, do you? Hopefully, the likes of him, Shoretire, some of the other players as well. Jimmy Garner, who's obviously gone out on loan at Nottingham Forest, doing really well there.
Yeah.
In 3 or 4 years, that could be the future of Manchester United, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, you know, because like Diallo got a goal in Europa the other day, didn't it, the other week? But that doesn't mean he's ready for the first team yet. I know he's a bit different because we paid big money for him, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's good that Ollie's giving these youngsters a chance in it, because that was one thing that pretty much didn't happen under Jose Mourinho, did it?
Yeah, it is nice to see, and it's always going to be the case that you need to really see 20 first-team games from a player before you can even remotely judge him. I think like a handful of games is always good, and Diallo's looked decent in the games he's played, but I'm not judging him yet because you don't know, and there's so many players who have a decent 5 games, a decent 10 games, and then you never see him. Like, you know,
well, there's loads.
The fullback is one in particular. I can't think of his name now.
The fullback for Manchester
United under Louis van Gaal.
Oh, Tyler Blackett.
No.
Cameron Borthwick-Jackson.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic when he played for United, and it just didn't work out. I know there's a few different reasons. Maybe that one didn't work out.
It's sad as well, isn't it? When he was on loan at Tranmere, and then he came back, and because he came back, I think he got injured or whatever, but there was all these rumours going around that we were bringing him back to playing a 30, and loads of people were like meltdowns on social media. Fucking look at the state of our club and all that. And he came out and like said, "Oh, you know, I'm back because of an injury or whatever it was."
Yeah.
And I thought it's bad that, because there was a time when everyone was raving about him, and now people just slagging him off. When he's obviously, you know, a very talented footballer who came through the ranks, and it just didn't happen for him. Tyler Blackett's another one. I think he's at Forest actually with Jimmy Garner, Januzaj, Makeda. Going back a bit before your time, I remember thinking Teddy Cook was going to be the next fucking David Beckham. It shows what I know. So yeah, we've had a lot of players like that. Hopefully though, Anthony Elanga will be the next. It's good
that he's getting a chance in the squad.
And hopefully he'll be the next Ryan Giggs and play 800 games for Manchester United and score fucking loads of goals, even if you don't remember who Ryan Giggs is.
Just when you said Ryan, my brain thought it took a second, because I don't consider him to be called a man called Ryan who's in his 40s, because Ryan is the name of an 8-year-old. Here's a question for you, Jay, before we
go on then, brother.
Just been thinking about this since the Declan Rice news.
Yeah.
Rice, the food,
yes,
must be like item for item. Do you know it's small, isn't it?
Yeah.
Must be by far the most eaten food object in the world.
Right.
By far.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, I'm treading carefully. I don't want to sound racist, but in parts of
racist.
Asia,
oh, wait, yeah, said it yet.
Asia, it's one of the it's very popular food.
It's popular
stuff.
everywhere.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, if a large part of the earth is eating it for a lot of the time, then it's going to be it probably
it's very small, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is the most popular.
By a lot, though, I'd say, because most countries in the world eat rice.
Yeah,
and it's so small.
So you mean piece per piece?
Piece by piece.
Yeah.
Nothing's
rice.
Coming close to rice.
What about salt?
Oh fuck! No, because that dissolves.
Does that not count?
No.
Salt.
Because what is it? What is 1 unit of salt? A twist?
Yeah.
A dosh?
Like all them little bits
there. It comes in rocks.
Everyone's having a little bit.
Someone said salt. That's a good point.
Yeah. A pinch.
Bread unit per unit, nowhere near.
A pinch of salt, you see? Producer Cam just said.
There's no a grain of salt, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it dissolves in. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's not food anyway, is it? What's your favourite food? Salt. What would you have to be? Do you remember those shows that used to be on? I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, go on.
Those shows where it's like, Jason, I know that's not even funny.
Go on.
Jason is addicted to sausages. He's eaten nothing but sausages and hobnobs his whole life. Someone like that. Jason, all he's eaten in his whole life is salt.
Jason's like Jason.
Yeah, we have to water him 8 times a day.
Hasn't moved out of bed for 12 years because all he has is salt.
So corn. Very good point.
Corn?
A kernel.
A kernel of... No, because I'm like...
A granule.
Loads of people don't eat corn, do they?
Yeah, but it's in everything. Maize-based this. Corn-based that.
I think you were right. It's either salt if you count it salt or it's rice.
Salt isn't a food.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's rice. Sorry, that's all.
Well, you can't just say, yes, it's rice, sorry, that's all. Like, #fact check.
Grain, good question. Good point.
Can't eat rice without water.
That's true.
That's a very good point, that. It's milk, says Kevin Tran.
Milk isn't a food.
It is if you freeze it.
Okay, go on then.
Alex Mack in the super chat, who's trying to save us from this absolute nonsense that you've started, says West Ham said they'd want Lingard at any cost, Would you call their bluff and try and get Rice in a deal, or would you want Lingard back at OT?
Sorry, which Rice are we talking about?
Are we talking about
Someone
Declan?
says chips.
Chip. Beans.
Here's the thing.
Hey,
someone else is saying, like, whatever. Banana. Someone said banana. I think, yeah, people eat a lot of bananas. You think, when I'm having rice, I'll have 1,000 rice in one go.
Right.
That's 2 years worth of bananas. I'm having 1,000 bits of rice.
I'm not a big fan of rice, mate.
Fuck off.
I'm not. It's shit.
What do you mean it's shit?
What to go rice? Yeah, these little bits of fucking nonsense. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? That's like you get given up. It's like you have the nice bit of your meal and then always just some shit to go with it. Rice. Oh, right, fucking hell, nice one, yeah. Why not just eat some cardboard or some fucking flour? Do you know what I mean?
You can't
This meal's so exciting now you've added some rice. Fucking hell. I'm so buzzing now. It is, it's just like, nah, not for me. Egg fried rice, something like that is alright because it's got egg in it. But rice, fuck off. Uma Khan says, what about lentil or wheat?
Yeah.
Do you know what, Uma?
Come on.
I'm sorry, mate. You spent £1.99 to ask that. I feel bad for you.
Wheat. It's a good point. But wheat isn't a food, is it? I mean, it is, but no one's just eating wheat. Rice is like, give me loads of rice.
Yeah. Give me lots of rice.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's what the fuck is this shit? Again, I'm sick of this every night.
Michael in the comments says, someone told Jay's missus to add seasoning to the rice.
No, she knows like I don't like rice. I don't have rice, mate.
Do you not?
Not now and again with chili, but even then, when we have chili, I like tortillas and that.
Tortillas?
Yeah.
He's fucking bringing me tortillas.
Is that what they're called?
Tortilla.
Tortilla.
Tortillas.
Tortillas and that, like, you know, them Mexican crisps.
Right, move on.
I like them.
Move on.
Do you know what I mean? Rice. Nah, not for me. What's this? Someone says, Jay doesn't need starch. He needs all the flavours.
Yeah.
Thank you. Someone else says couscous. Exactly. I think we've covered this now. I think we've covered
Food's
all.
so
Man.
nice they named it rice.
Yeah.
Couscous is just chopped up rice though, isn't it? We can.
What is couscous?
Oh, fuck knows.
Is it like little tiny things?
Yeah, it's just dots.
Dot.
It's just painful dots. Right.
Sorry, Christopher Hawkins in the chat says, Joe, you and Adam
Yeah.
recently discussed your perfect Premier League briefly. Would love to see a full video on that topic.
It was what teams in our head make up the best Premier League 20 teams. I don't know if it's worth a full video. We could maybe talk about it on the watch.
Sorry, just...
So who do you consider like the Premier League teams? Do you have Wednesday?
Right, sorry,
do you have
right,
Forest?
right, okay.
Does Burnley make it even though they've been there for a while? Maybe Stoke,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But we could maybe talk about it on the watch long tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds like a... What? Sorry?
That is football,
Yeah.
you big sausage.
Yeah, well, we can maybe get that video going there. Maybe as a members video or something, I don't know. We'll let them two decide. But as always, thanks for your support. Thanks for everyone who's got involved in the comments, in the chat. Thanks everyone who's watched, liked, subscribed, all the rest of it. If you're not subscribing as well, do give us a subscribe. If you're not doing, have a look at the members section as well. Check out some of the stuff we've got going on there. We've got him dishing out haircuts. What are you laughing to yourself about?
Joe, what's your favourite Rockbusters clue? I can't think of it right now, but I love Rockbusters.
What's Rockbusters?
It's Blockbusters, but done by Carl Pilkington.
All right, okay.
So it'll be like clues to a band, to a song. But I can't remember if Rockbusters is the one where they play the music. Don't talk to me about science. That one, Bring Me Telephone. That was a good one. But that's not Rockbusters, that was another game they did. Move on. End it. Finish it.
Right, okay. United Forever Podcast says, brilliant show, lads. Thank you for your support. Thanks for everyone that's watched. As always, we'll have the watch along tomorrow. It's you,
Adam McCullough,
Freddie Quinn and Adam McCullough in it.
Dream team.
The dream team there. You're going to have Howson as well before the match, and also you'll have me and Ronaldo Brown at half time. So we'll all be here tomorrow, so make sure you're checking that out as well. This has been Stretford Paddock Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.